everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm your host, Once on Hammer. I have with me my co-host, Terry Diamantis.
Hello.
And Genty Maxey.
Hello.
Hello, chat. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's go through chat real quick. Who is visiting tonight? Mike R. And just Mike R. And more of Mike R. Oh, OG Costin's out there. We had active chat. Hi, Keeverdam. And we'll have more people joining as we normally do in about a half an hour or so. After the show's about halfway done, that's when everybody shows up. Glorious. How you doing tonight, Terry?
Yeah, pretty good. How about you?
I cannot complain. How you doing, Jen?
I'm good. I just shared our stream. The first thing I see is someone being like, your birth month is your zombie apocalypse partner. And I'm looking at this shit and they're claiming I've got Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. I'm like, well, at least I can be high.
This is on Twitter?
Yeah. Sorry, that's what happens.
How did I know?
I will go and share this stream every single time, and it takes 2 seconds of me staring at whatever stupid shit Twitter has decided to share with me at that moment. And it's usually some kind of a meme like that, and I'm like, okay.
Twitter is the land of the stupid.
Hey, at least this one was PG friendly. Sometimes I do that, and I'm like, oh, that was furry balls. Mr. Adam does not believe me, but there was a time where every time I would go to share a stream, sure enough, there would be some comic strip that somebody had drawn with furry balls all over the place.
Are you following Panda? Because he does put Bowser dick all over his timeline.
I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I thought the Bowser stuff was funny. Like, you know, Femme Bowser was actually kind of hot as a cartoon character. I'm not going to lie.
No, but this is a gay guy. He calls himself Panda in video games, something like that. And he has a man crush on Bowser, and he will post porn of Bowser all over his timeline.
That's funny. No, I haven't seen that necessarily. That's funny though.
But you know 34 what I mean. Stuff, porn of Bowser.
Oh yeah.
It's like the exodus of Tumblr that came to Twitter, and what remains on Twitter is what's still somewhat within their boundaries. And it's amazing what they're allowed to get away with. But I'm also saying that I only mentioned that comment because some lady was claiming that she lets her 6-year-old onto Twitter, and I was like, "There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell you're letting your 6-year-old on Twitter.
You can let your 6-year-old onto Twitter. Just be careful who they're following. If they're following toy manufacturers and stuff like that, they're not going to get blasted by this kind of stuff, you know." So really depends.
You do have to be very careful though, because if they start following their friends on Twitter and their friends follow questionable stuff,
right?
They're also 6, like 6.
Is that an option?
So I'm like,
off?
I don't think there's a kid-friendly version of Twitter.
No, at best I can understand Facebook because Facebook has a lot more limiters to it. And with Facebook, it's more about little games. So like a 6-year-old, I could see playing like a little game with mom or with like auntie or siblings or something. I don't see a 6-year-old necessarily going much past that. Like I know 6-year-olds can have cell phones in certain schools. Not very often, not up here. I'm just saying you're a very lucky kid if you have one of those at 6.
Cell phones are fine. Mm-hmm. Because the parents can have some control over what apps get installed. Twitter is a bit too Wild West for a kid. If I had a kid, I would not want them on Twitter.
That's what I mean. Like Facebook, you've got more parental things you could put on Facebook.
Is there a way to set up Twitter so that you don't see what your friends are doing?
I don't think so.
No.
I've not found it if there is.
Block them and just be like, I'm just doing this temporarily so my kids don't see what you're doing. I will unblock you in a week.
Yeah, but I mean, if they get on and they follow like Hasbro and Mattel and stuff like that, then they're probably going to be pretty safe. It's only when they start following stuff that's questionable that you can get in trouble. So you have to monitor what they're doing really closely to make sure that they're.
If you're following brands will probably mostly just tweet about their products.
Right.
But if you're following someone who like follows something questionable, then yeah, it's a bit too unrestrained for kids, I would say. I certainly wouldn't want anyone under the age of like 15 on Twitter.
Excuse me. Got a bit of a cough going. There's YouTube channels that are all about. I think there's a YouTube channel where parents give their kid a toy and let him talk about how much he likes it. I guess you could follow something like that, and it's be fairly safe. Wholesome content, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But
I mean, they've got YouTube Kids where they have much stricter controls over what's allowed on the kids app for good reason.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that. Like that stuff is done with the intentions that it's going to be for kids.
Yeah.
It's like today, and you're going to laugh at what I had this little brain fart while I was putting away toys at work, because I do that now. I put away toys, and sometimes I question the toys because just like when we were kids, so you kind of wonder whether or not they're trying to kill the children. So I don't know if you've heard of these toys. They're kind of a popular fad at the moment, but they're called Smush Smush or Mush Mush. They've got
never heard of them.
So it's basically a marshmallow stuffy. It's basically a very squishy stuffy, and it's basically like the jelly bean belly, like little toy things. It's kind of like one of those fads, and they're cute. They're comfortable. They're nice little toys. Now they've made one.
There was a time when at the end of every Minions stream, all my recommendations would be for toy channels. And I think they were picking up on the word Minions in the title.
So the new one that they've brought out, and this is why I gotta question it. So part of the Smush Smush collection has these little ones that are finger toys. They're finger-sized toys that can flip inside out. So like one side will be like a cat, the inside will be like a fox. It's a little thing. Well, now they've got one that's the size of a kid's head, and I'm just looking at this thing going, when I was a kid, I would have put my head in that. Now that's okay, but like, are you able to get it off? Because if you can't, that's a problem. But also, if you're a kid and you put that on, what happens if you go to sleep? Because kids are stupid.
They are.
Like, I mean, that's why I look at things like that, because I'm like, when you're a parent or if you're an adult and you're creating toys, do you ever think about what would you have done with it when you were a kid? And if any of those things could lead to your death, maybe make sure that they don't do that. Because even as an adult, I looked at that. I was like, you know what? If I reworked that, it would at least be safe. Because some kid is definitely going to put that on their head.
Yeah.
Well, kids will do anything with anything. That's kind of their modus operandi is just they're learning about the world, so they will try everything that they can.
Ooh, what's this? I don't know. Let me stick it in my mouth.
Right?
Exactly.
I'm all for that. Even I was looking at it, I was like, I can even see an adult doing that. And I'm like, I'm waiting for the first adult to do it, because I guarantee you an adult's going to do it. Yep.
I can see it. I can feel it. What does it taste like?
Tide Pods.
Yeah, really.
Delicious.
But yeah, sorry. I still like the toy though. It's still a cute toy. I'm just like, if any adult buys it, I'm gonna be like, just watch out for your kids, because we're all stupid at that age.
But you just reminded me with the whole Tide Pod thing. The channel College Humor did a sketch maybe not years, but months before the whole eating Tide Pod things became a craze. And like the joke was that they look like candy, and this guy's like eating them and ends up dying. They actually put a thing in the description. Due to recent events, we must stress: do not eat Tide Pods.
It's the challenge, Tide Pod challenge, cinnamon challenge.
Johnny Blaze wants to know. So if you want to look up a new toy, it's called the Smush Smush. And when you do, you're going to see a bunch of toys and you're going to be like, oh my God, I feel like I'm surrounded by pink everywhere. But it's the new fad. It's basically the new gizmo thing that's selling. Some of them are kind of cute. But it's the one that looks like it could fit over your head. It flips in and out. Like I said, it goes from being like, some versions have a cat and a dog, in and out. But it fits over your head like a hat. Entirely over your head like a hat. It's like a cloth condom for your head.
It's the latest fad, the Cabbage Patch Kids or the Tickle Me Elmo or the latest greatest thing.
They've brought some of them back. Cabbage Patch they brought back.
Sure.
They'll
sell.
But the one thing
it sounds to me like late-term abortion, just very late-term abortion.
But
letting kids die from playing with the dangerous toys.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to abort my child, but I'm going to give him a shotgun.
You know, like it was a thing, definitely. I mean, I know for our generation, I know damn well that everybody who's listening to me knows what I mean, that every year there's at least 1 or 2 toys that came out where you're like, you do know that's like, okay, yeah, you know you're doing that on purpose. Somebody out there has to be doing that on purpose, because that
kids are too soft. So you give them dangerous toys, and the ones that survive are ready for the real world.
The ones who survive are like, look, don't be retarded.
Let's go ahead and go over the show notes real quick. Only a few topics for tonight. I don't want to get too much into detail on any one of them. First one, TYT go boom. You guys are aware of Anna Kasparian and her tendency to be an idiot, and she did it again.
Just a slight bit.
I just want a picture of what she looked like at the time, because the evolution of her breakdowns are how tight her bun gets.
Yeah, well, you'll get to see the clip when we play it if you're watching the show live. Chappelled is the attack on Dave Chappelle while he's doing a stand-up routine in California. I think it was in California. And then finally, Row Your Boat. We obviously have to have some kind of discussion about what's going on with Roe v. Wade. There's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of crying one way or the other, and people refusing to see this as actually the good thing that it is. So we can get into that as well. Is there any particular one? I'm going to save Roe for last because that could go on for a while.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a preference where we start tonight?
Well, I think Chappelle will be fun. I think TYT will be fun for different reasons, but I don't know as much about that one. So you might be introducing me to that one.
Okay. Well, I was going to say TYT for that reason, because Jen hasn't seen it, and it sounds like she wants to. I was thinking start with Young Turks, so Jen can see what.
I'm still a little bit of a troll at heart. I was there the night that Trump got elected. I might not be American, but I was totally about Trump in their chat, because that was fantastic.
In case anybody doesn't know, also welcome Gulf City Johnny Blaze. In case anybody doesn't know, TYT put out a video, and it was wildfire on Twitter, where Anna Kasparian got a little bit upset about what's going on as far as the whole Roe v. Wade thing. So I don't want to get too much into Roe v. Wade, but I did want to play, and this is a little bit difficult for me because our configuration is set up to make it as hard as possible for me to get media into the show. So you guys will have to be a little patient with me on this. But let's see if we can get the actual video. I have to warn anybody who's wearing headphones, might want to turn the volume down or take them off, because she screeches, man, and it's just terrible.
She really does.
Yeah. So let's see if I can get this to play.
We don't even have paid family leave. We don't even have affordable childcare in this freaking country. Okay, and the people who fight against those kinds of laws are Republicans.
And yet,
what do you want them to do with their kids when they have to go to work?
Interrupted.
What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? I want them to answer that freaking question. Answer the question.
Interrupted again.
Journalists, ask them the question. Ask them. Ask them.
Isn't it amazing?
Ask them.
Again.
The goddamn question. God.
Isn't it amazing that not one Democrat has shown 1% of the passion that Anna has today?
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Interrupted again.
They're all so old, they don't even have to worry about it affecting them. And if they're young enough where it would affect them, they'll get their abortion.
They're going to fly to
They're
Paris.
trading individual stocks, enriching themselves. They're good. They're good. They don't care about you. Make sure you understand that and you feel it in your bones. They don't care about you at all. All of that fundraising, all of that canvassing, all of that hard work on the ground, they can't even get a voting rights bill passed. They're losers.
Trusha Briggs writes in, thank you, Anna, for communicating this momentous injustice and the rage we're all feeling today.
I can love Anna Kasparian sometimes.
It's sorry, I watched several TikToks on stuff like similar to her freak out. Like her freak out is exactly like the TYT version of the lip TikToks. And it's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is gonna go into the Roe and Wade shit, so we can leave that part till the end. But I'm sorry, Anna. I'm gonna tell you exactly the same shit I was telling those women. Men, you need to get a notebook. And when you start dating women, you need to start taking notes on shit that they say. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't side with them on it, because you know what? There are some men who are like, you know what? If she wants to do it, she wants to do it, because they don't want to have anything to do with child support. You know, because that's always the flip with that debate is like, you know, whether or not there's money involved and control over somebody else's life. Both ways. It goes both ways.
I love the the pitch of her voice just keeps getting higher and louder and higher and louder. Like there's absolutely no reason for MGTOW. Never.
No.
Thank you, Anna, for proving my point.
She was just going everywhere. Like even Cenk is like, okay, I get that you're unhappy with this.
But look on his face.
You're making stuff up as you go. Like when you're that upset and you go to hysterics, you're making shit up as you go. You sound dumb.
Really, the best thing is the look on his face, though. He just knows.
Anna always sounds dumb.
He just knows. There's no way I'm going to get a word in here. He tries 4 times. He's interrupted because she just can't control herself.
Yeah, like the only time he even gets to say anything is when he's like bowing down and showing support. Yes, women are great. Women are awesome.
He gets to start it and he gets to close it, and she gets to run the whole middle of the rant. It's glorious. I think it's one of the best videos I've seen in a long time. It's just watching her just fucking lose her mind.
So for things that aren't any of my business, and I am being a little bit petty, but is she even still married? Like she was the lady like a couple years ago who was all like, I'm corporate, I don't need children, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, lady, at no point have you ever gotten pregnant, right? Because you have control over your own body. You already do. Yeah,
I don't know what her wasn't she banging Cenk at one point? I don't remember. I saw a picture of her and Cenk once where they're like, it looks almost like they're at a prom. The kind of picture they take, where they're face to face each other. She's got his hands on his chest, and he's got his hand on her ass. And I thought, well, I wonder if he's getting some. And she didn't look upset about it. She had a big old smile on her face. So I don't know. I really don't know if she's ever been married or if she's ever dated. Is she lesbian? I have no clue whatsoever. I don't really want to know either.
No, Maya, I'm not asking that to be mean. It's just one of those things where, like I said, the liberals on the left on the TikTok, every single one of them are people who really don't have a stake in the issue. You either most of the people talking about this aren't pregnant. They aren't planning to get pregnant, or the ones who've done it have already done it. And it's like, okay, well, you already did it.
Yeah. I can't believe she went that far on the show, though. She was just screaming like that.
I do. It's all about dramatics nowadays.
I don't know if she's going to win any points. I don't think anybody in the right is doing anything but laughing. The people
once you go woke, you go broke.
I do think it's interesting that all of a sudden the left knows what a woman is now.
Yeah. They're going to forget next week, though. They're going to forget next week, though.
Have you seen that image where the girl's holding up a sign that says, my body, my choice? And on her shirt says, enforce mandates, medical mandates. It's like, you're a walking controversy right there. I mean, you're just, how can you square those two? That's not possible. How can you say body autonomy except for no body autonomy?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I found a great Twitter account. I'm assuming it's parody. It could just be a crazy person. but it's Anne Lesby, which is like obviously a joke name. But she's acting like everyone is transphobic for wanting a woman's opinion only on abortion.
Yeah.
And one of the best ones is she told this story how devastated she was. She went to have an abortion, and they said that she couldn't have one just because she wasn't pregnant.
That's pretty good.
It's so much of that. Like I was talking about this with Blind Girl, and yet again, like this is this conversation with these people, and they keep pulling this stuff up. Like the conversation is just that easy. For one thing, abortion's already complicated. It should always be considered complicated. It should be the last resort forever. For all reasons that you can think of for an abortion, it should be the last resort. But the way that they go about it is just like they all think that's what's going to happen. That men are just going to go AWOL and start making all the women pregnant. You know, you guys are just going to go rape everybody. So we're all going to be stuck with babies that we can't handle. And they make it seem like it's every state. I'm like, no, you could tell that they didn't read this thing the same way that they didn't read the bill for Florida. And now they're making shit up, and they're doing it on the backs of people who are making a really difficult decision. It's not just that people choose to or don't choose to, you know, a lot of. Okay, I'm going to be frank. I was really kind of brutal with BG about this one, but I'm a mixed opinion on the pro-choice. It's either if you're going to go that route, go all the way, or don't bother. Because I'm tired of the debate.
Did you see that picture from Gay Toad? It's I couldn't figure it out. I don't know if this is actually the person who is Gay Toad or Gay Toad was just showing this picture. But it's a picture and it says, "Not a woman, no opinion. Okay, I'm trans." And the picture below it, that's hard to believe that person is trans. Because that is a pretty girl. To me, that does not. I mean, I've never seen anybody pass this. This makes Blair White look like a man. This person, I can't really figure it out because what is said in the picture are like, are you joking? Are you really a woman? Are you really a natural female or not? Because the picture is like that, and I posted. I said that's a pretty guy. You know, if that is a guy, I was totally confused by the post. I didn't ask any questions or like that. But to me, that's not only a passing man, but that looks like a female to me all the way around. There's no lump in the throat. It's just. Do you know the picture I'm talking about?
Get the X-rays. Get the X-rays done. See what the hips are like.
Or I don't know if this person truly is a man and whether they've fully transitioned or not. But I mean, just pull down the pants to find out. But my point being is that I've never seen a man pass for a woman so well as this person did. If this person really, I mean, my guess is this is a joke. This really is a female.
It sounds like it.
Making a joke because I can't believe that's a guy. You know, like I said, Blair's a passes very well. But this person, I can't believe that's not a girl.
The most feminine looking man I've ever seen is obviously Lauren Southern.
This girl's prettier than her.
No, I'm just saying Lauren Southern had a her sex changed legally just to prove how stupid the whole thing was. So she is legally male in Canada.
At least in Canada, yeah. Is there a way I can get this picture up on the screen somehow? Because I don't know if anybody has seen this piece. Have you guys seen this picture?
Nope.
All right. Well, I'm going to quickly take a screenshot of it so I can get it on my phone. I'm going to go into my phone settings here, bring up the picture and edit it and see if there's some way that I can get this up on the screen because it's hard for me to put into words. You have to see the picture yourself.
Yeah.
I'm
what you
editing
do, you send the picture to the transvestigators, and they will determine if it's a man or a woman.
All right, so I have the picture. How do I get this onto the stream so people can see it? I guess I could just tweet it. or DM it. Can you guys? How can we get this up so people can see it?
I don't know how any of this stuff works. So,
yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out on the fly. I can mail it to
can,
myself.
can you share your screen without doxing yourself? Like, is there a way to put that on the screen and share it to StreamYard?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do is I'm going to email it to myself. The one-ton hammer. I'm going to email it to myself. That will at least get it up on my PC. So now I don't have to worry about fucking around with my phone. Now if I go to my email, this is going to be a process. This is the things I go through just to put the show together, and you're getting to see it, live. But I think I have a real good point to make here. If you guys see this, you won't believe it. You really won't. I could just send it to the two of you over our channel on Twitter.
Sure.
But I want the rest of the crew to see this. I want everybody on live and in chat to see it as well. Gmail and sorry, the hammer. All right, so there's the image, and I guess I could somehow download this. Mail, download. All right, so the file is now on my PC. And
cool.
Let me click on it, and I could put it up on my screen. And then, oops. Damn it. I have to close or minimize the YouTube broadcast so people don't get our stream key. That wouldn't be good for the show. And now
no, it would not.
I got to figure a way of getting this so that I don't think I have a screen set up where it just shows our StreamYard. I don't think I have a screen that just blasts the StreamYard straight through. Let me see if I can do it with... You guys are going to see some weird OBS stuff going on here. Oh, that's my gaming thing. That's not going to work. I don't think I have a screen. Oh. There we go.
You got it?
I got it. You have to look at the live, which will happen in about 10 seconds for you guys. But that's the picture that I'm talking about. And you can't see all of it just because I don't have the screen set up correctly for it. But she has a chest, too. That looks like an American version of Lauren Chen to me.
That looks like the Heroes of the Storm logo to me.
Oh, it'll get there. It's going to take a few seconds to switch over. Remember, we got like...
Flash contrast. There it is. There it is.
Yeah. See what I mean?
That looks like a girl to me.
Does that look like a guy? What do you think, Jen? Girl's opinion here.
Yeah, it could be.
So you see a possibility of that being a guy?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I mean, it's still an effeminate dude, but yeah.
I look at that picture and I'm like, that cannot be a guy. There's no way you can get a that from starting with the base of a man first. There's no way.
I don't know. If I first glance, my go-to is that's a woman, but I mean, anything's possible. I mean, the makeup and shit that they can use. I don't know.
Well, I was fooled. I'm not sure if it was a troll or if it really was a woman who was just trying to fuck with people, or if Gay Toad is that person. I have no idea. But I had a hard time believing that was a guy. I would be easily tricked if I went out to a bar somewhere and that walked up to me. Yeah, I'm on board.
I mean, put it this way: if I wasn't asked, "Do you think this is a man or a woman?" I would assume woman.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're saying, "Is this person trans?" It's like, well, I mean, maybe, but I don't know.
I've never seen anyone. I keep saying thing. I probably shouldn't say that. I haven't seen anyone that passes that well before. Never. Not even close. Even that's better than Blair. You got to admit.
It's not as good as Riley though. Riley's the true master.
Riley
of
Dennis.
passing.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Lord, that might be too old for some of the people in chat, but
Mhm,
yeah, there was a person named Riley. What was her first name? Justin originally, her dead name.
Yeah, it was Justin Dennis Riley was the dead name, and then they transitioned into Riley Dennis.
Yeah, definitely not passing. Definitely not passing. Anyway, so yeah, that was TYT and them losing their shit, which was probably the best part of my day today so far.
mhm,
We should probably move on and talk about Dave.
mhm.
It was in
So
Los
there's
Angeles.
a
I was right. It was in Los
yeah,
Angeles, by the way. But go ahead.
there's a lot to unpack there. Yeah. So Jamie Foxx was there. Chris Rock was there. And the guy actually had a knife.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah, we should all blame Will Smith for this. It's his fault. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, but it is.
Well, I actually took some time. We'll see if this actually works or not. This is another screen I set up that's going to show images while I'm reading the document that I prepared for the show. The Los Angeles Department arrested a suspect charged him with assault with a deadly weapon after Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage Tuesday night. The alleged suspect, identified by LAPD as Isaiah Lee, was carrying a replica gun with a knife blade inside when he attacked Chappelle during the Hollywood Bowl, police say. The comedian was in the middle of the stand-up routine for Netflix Is a Joke, which is their brand. Lee is a black male with black hair and brown eyes, roughly 6 foot tall, and weighs about 140 pounds. He's been charged with assault with a deadly weapon, a felony, and is being held on $30,000 bail. Lee was removed from the event on a stretcher with visible wounds to his face and head, along with what appears to be a dislocated shoulder and a broken forearm.
Mhm.
The attack took place towards the end of Chappelle's stand-up routine. The comedian thanked both Busta Rhymes and Jamie Foxx for helping out during the attack. Whenever you're in trouble, Jamie Foxx will show up in a sheriff's hat, he told the audience, to great reprise and laughter. Security guards chased and overpowered the attacker, and Chappelle was able to continue his performance. Chris Rock was there as well, and jokingly asked if the attacker was Will Smith, the crowd roaring with laughter in response. Chappelle refused to let the attack Tuesday night, quote, overshadow a magical moment, unquote. His as unfortunate and unsettling as the incident was, Chappelle went on with the show. Jamie Foxx and Chris Rock helped calm the crowd with humor before Chappelle introduced the last performance of the evening. A spokesman for Netflix said of the event, "We care deeply about the safety of the creators, and we strongly defend the right of stand-up comedians to perform on stage without fear of violence." Very corporate reply. So your thoughts?
The Lotus Eaters made a good comment where they said he looks like one of those Legos where you swap the arms around so that they're pointing in the wrong direction.
Well, here's the funny thing about it too is the trans community is now up in arms again because after the little attack, Dave Chappelle came back, was like, "It was a man." So naturally they're mad at him again, and it's like, well, you do realize that he's winning the case right now because you keep doubling down and doing this shit. People don't like seeing one group of people getting away with like actually attempting to murder people. Don't be mad
That's
to me.
fine.
You tried to murder me.
It kills me that they dislocated his right arm and broke his left arm. Like this guy's going to be having people feeding him for the next couple of months.
Yeah,
His left arm
Good
is,
question.
is dislocated and twisted behind him.
yeah.
Like when they
that
had him
was
on this
grim.
when they had him on the stretcher, his arm was like, is that your arm or is that somebody else's arm? That didn't look so unnatural. And then you look at his left arm and it's just already in a soft cast because the previous picture showed him being loaded on the Twitter, and it is not. It's like somebody put ice cream on top of the ice cream cone. It's not attached. It's just sitting on top of the rest of the arm. Like, I didn't want to show the video because the video is like a little
It
too
would've gotten
traumatic.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
but it got us
Susan would have been
trouble.
happy if I would have done that. So
Oh God, no.
I figured maybe I'll just put the picture of him on the stretcher in the rotating images. So
So here's the thing, like Netflix was apparently debating on whether or not they were going to show that part of the special. I think Dave was like, no, put it in.
yeah,
I think it's time for a lot of people to realize that they can't keep doing this kind of stuff anymore. But also, I think somebody needs to start calling out these security companies.
no problem
because
here.
This is,
Not tonight.
like, no offense, but like the one at the Oscars was a fluke because it was Will Smith. Like, nobody should have been able to get up onto that stage, but the fact that it was Will Smith is why it happened.
I don't think, did they actually have security at the event to prevent access to the stage, or do they just have like ushers?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like,
Can you imagine the need? They didn't think there would be a need to have that. Who would get up on stage? It's outrageous. Who would ever do that? You know, so why would we have posted anywhere? Because no one would ever do that. Sure enough.
But even if they did, I mean, a lot of people assumed that Will Smith was going up to talk to Chris
Yeah.
Rock. They didn't think he was going to slap him. They thought there was going to be like back and forth banter. It was going to be funny. It was like,
that's what it looked like. Even his stride kind of looked like he was just going to go over and give him like a side hug and be like, hey, you know, lay off my wife or something.
yeah.
They weren't expecting a slap.
No, not at all.
But this other guy isn't the first one that happened since. Like, there's been another one that I watched. So I watched Abba and Preach, and they
As
were
you
like,
should.
and they were like, yeah, there was another comedian who did the same thing, tried to go up on a stage, and it's just like,
Yeah, this is the third time, not the second time. This has happened since whatchamacallit, since Will Smith did his thing. Another guy got attacked, and he got hurt. The comedian got hurt, and then this happened. But this is the good thing, is that people have learned what's going to happen now, because now we're prepared for it. Fuck around and find out.
but this is also another cultural shift too. Go ahead, Terry.
No, I think the best bit about that Abba and Preach video was seeing Jim Jeffries get punched in the face.
Yes. But I think this is a clear indication of cultural shift, just based off of the three guys that were involved with this tonight. Like Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock going up onto the stage, and then knowing that Jamie Foxx was there helping him out. Like, I mean, he kind of went on stage with his security. That's where the extra security came from.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in such a long time. Like, not because he's not around, just he hasn't done stuff in a while. And it's just, this is old school comedies from the 90s and the early 2000s, you know?
Yeah.
We're all tired of being stifled.
I doubt that Jimmy Fox's security wears badges. I think they're a couple of brothers from the hood with nines. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling Jamie isn't contracting a firm to protect him, is what I'm saying. So he's just got his boys, you know. I think that's what that's all about. But I'm sure Dave does too. But
yeah,
anyway.
It's just one of those things. Like, I still view Hollywood as being mostly crazy, but seeing some of the old names, some of the big old names, especially the funny ones, come out and be like, yeah, we're kind of sick of this stuff. That cultural shift, I'm happy to see that, because I keep saying, like, the only reason I don't really want to watch the right version of Hollywood is because they're bad at making movies sometimes. And like, it's been forever, you know, like Gina Carano can only do so much.
From what I've heard, the Daily Wire movies aren't too bad.
They're getting better, but I'm saying that more talent from Hollywood that's not cuckoo bananas is a good thing.
I think I mentioned last week the one that I saw, the Live, Draw, Fight, whatever it was really good. So I don't know if has the one with Gina been released so that everybody can see it now, or do you still have to be a Daily Wire?
I have no idea.
I think you still do. I haven't seen it. Like, I think BG has, but
I was going to make it a point to find out where these were and view them somehow, some way, without getting on Daily Wire's call sheet. but I got busy with other things and I forgot about it. So I'm going to try to remember to do that tonight after the stream, is to see if I can track down some of these movies, because I really like that one that they did that I did see. So if the other ones are of equal quality, I know I'm going to enjoy them. I think I mentioned last week that I'm not sure if I even reviewed it, but if I
think
didn't,
you
maybe
did review it, didn't you?
did I review
I'm
it?
pretty sure.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
All right. Good. Well then, did I give it a good review?
From memory, yes. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did, because I enjoyed it. So, all right, that's good. I'll try to track down the one with Gina Carano, because I never watched her on The Mandalorian. I didn't even know who she was until I heard she was fired for the wrong reasons, and then I knew who she was. So, I'm not going to watch The Mandalorian, because I'm not really a Star Wars fan, and that's not really Star Wars anyway, in my opinion. But I want to see her act as an actress to see if she's any good, and make up my own mind about that. So I'll have to track that movie down somehow, some way. Find somebody who's got a Daily Wire account or something like that, so I can watch it. Maybe if I get a chance. I just did Clerks, and I just did Mallrats. I think the next one is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I think it's the next one in the series, and then Dogma's
I
last.
actually haven't seen Clerks. I've seen Mallrats. I've seen Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but I haven't seen either of the Clerks movies. So
Is there more than one Clerks? Is there a Clerks 2?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Clerks was good. You saw my reviews. Clerks was, in my opinion, was better than Mallrats. I may be in the minority in that respect, but
I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen it.
yeah, yeah. But I would recommend it to you, because it is like Mallrats but funnier.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly the same writing style, same production values. Everything was the same. And the funny thing is, in Mallrats, you see the white station wagon that they're driving. It goes by a building. The building is the building from Clerks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a little callback there. I caught it as I was going, wait, that was the Clerks. So anyway, but yeah, I think Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I think that's the next one in the series, and then finally Dogma is last, if I'm correct. I don't know. Maybe
Chasing Amy one of theirs, isn't it?
I have that movie. If that's in there somewhere, I don't know if that's part of that group of movies or not, because I looked at Chasing Amy as far as just the graphics on it, and it looked like a professional movie by like Paramount or something like that. You know, maybe playing the movie would be a different story, but just looking at all the graphics that came with the movie and all that kind of stuff, it looked very professional. I was like, that doesn't look like a Kevin Smith movie to me. But Camel's in chat. Hey, Hank Camel. So yeah, I mean, not to get off too far off the subject, but Dogma is definitely one, because I had seen Dogma before. It's just been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time, because I was a fan of Alanis, and her playing God I thought was just brilliant. So I had to see the movie, but I'll have to watch it again. It's going to be part of the 4 movies in a row to review. I'll take a look at Chasing Amy to see where it fits into it, and if it fits in there somewhere, I'll do that as well. But I also want to get to Gina Carano's movie.
I forget why I watched Dogma, but I remember the first thing I thought was, so this is where that stupid Buddy Christ came from. Because I saw that all over Facebook, because this is back when I was using it. Like, that thing was all over Facebook. I was like, what the hell is this? And then I watched Dogma, and it's like, oh, okay. That explains it. That's what it is.
Captain Brambles in chat has straightened me out. Dogma came before Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So that's a good thing you said that, because I was going to watch them in the wrong order. So tonight, maybe after the show, or maybe tomorrow, I'll watch Dogma next, which is fine, because like I said, I've seen it before, and I have not seen Jay and Silent Bob. So it'd be better to watch the movie I know and then watch the movie I don't, than to go the opposite way. Thank you, Captain Brambles, for pointing that out to me. That's good information. Hello, Wandering Lisa.
I had a similar thing happen when I watched Fight Club, because there was like so many quotes from Fight Club that people were just like using, and I didn't realize they were from Fight Club. I just thought, that's kind of a cool speech. I wonder what it's from. And then I was watching Fight Club, and it's like, every one of those things was from this damn movie.
Yeah, I have Fight Club too. I should probably do a review of that. That was a really weird but cool movie.
It was.
Yeah. So, how are you doing on time tonight, Jen? You
I always have to work early the next day, but I'm good for a little bit longer. I can
All
keep
right,
going. A
because
little
we only got 15 minutes to squeeze and row your boat. And I didn't want to get too much into the debate about abortion itself, because that's not really. Everybody has their opinion on that, and they can have their opinions, and I don't care. You guys can talk about abortion. They're part of the abortion process too. You can't have an abortion without sperm. So that I
No,
consider that a moot
I saw
point.
I saw the best opinion ever. Only trans women are allowed to have abortions. That's the new rule.
Okay.
That's my. I'm going to go with that guy.
I'm
I
not
think you
sure
got
how
it right.
I'm not sure how that works, but okay.
No,
Um,
but it's gonna twist their mind if you put it out there. It'd be
Yeah,
funny
right.
as crap.
Trans women are women, so they are entitled to abortions, and they should be the only ones to get them. And I just thought that was quite an interesting opinion. And like, yes, I will second that.
Yeah. My take on it was the government abdicating power is bad, because really at the heart here is that from the very beginning in 73, when Roe was first decided, it was poorly decided. If you look at what it's telling people, it's pulling from a bunch of different amendments in a conglomeration. They call it a penumbra of bad takes on amendments to try to mash them together to create abortion is legal. And that's what they did. There's nothing, and they hate to hear this, and no one ever can dispute it. There is nothing about abortion at all in the Constitution. No, the word doesn't exist in the Constitution. That's just a plain old fact. And they don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about their rights and all that kind of stuff. And that's the fine argument. But the point being is that this was never a good decision in the beginning. This was a bad decision. And by reversing a bad decision, they're doing the right thing. And they're doing something the government very rarely does, is they're giving up power. The government doesn't do that very often. If they're going to do that, I think we should applaud them doing that and encourage them to do that more often. From a conservative point of view, they love it because that means smaller government. It's one of their big talking points. So by the court saying this is not in our purview, they're right. It's not in their purview. All this does is send the decision back to the states where it belongs. If it's not specifically noted in the Constitution, the 10th Amendment makes this clear. If it's not in the Constitution, then the Constitution does not decide it. That's straight up what it says. So this means that every state will have its power given back to them, which should never have been taken in the first place, to make their own decision. And if you don't like it, there are states that will accommodate you for what you want. That's the whole point
go to
of
New
this.
York, go to California.
That's what a republic is.
Can I ask you something too, Hammer?
Sure.
Just to hammer home how simple of a fix this is. Do you have to actually live in the state to just go for a medical operation?
No.
Nope.
So you could just go to another state for.
You can cross state lines. Oh.
So there you go.
But then you'll be doing a Rittenhouse, and you don't do Rittenhouses. That's awful.
What I do
And you know
hear is some states who are reluctant on abortion but are allowing it. What they're saying is you must be a resident for a year, so that they don't get the overflow from other states that don't allow it at all. That's the only thing I've heard that's been a little, okay, understandable. You can make the laws the way you want, but I can understand that. I don't want to be a state surrounded by red states where everyone goes to get their abortion. I don't want to be that state. So that's perfectly fine if they don't want to do that. But no, you don't have to, for the most part, you don't have to be a resident of the state that you get the abortion done in.
I think it could be like a tourist attraction. You know, like Florida has Disney World, and this whatever state this
California
happens to be has the abortion clinic.
California.
So they keep wanting to conflate this thing about human rights and stuff. I just want to point out that the only reason I'm still capable of traveling in my country, and even then I think it's a stretch because I might have problems with that, is because I've had 2 vaccines. I have proof that I've had 2 vaccines. If I didn't have those 2 vaccines, you know what I couldn't do in my own country? I couldn't travel to another province.
Yeah. Trudeau is a
Leave-
dictator, man. I swear
Leave
to
your
Christ.
house.
Yep.
Biden might be stupid, but Trudeau is outright evil.
Aren't you
Yeah.
guys allowed to do that now, Terry? Like, are you guys still in like lockdown too? Because you guys have the other psycho people.
Well, the thing is, because I actually went on the train the other day because I actually had to buy something.
You
that
left
I
your
didn't
house?
have to-
You rebel.
Yeah, yeah.
Holy crap.
And they still had signs on the train doors saying you must wear a mask to board this train.
Mhm.
So I didn't wear one, and no one said anything. But the
That's-
sign is still there.
That's the first step. The first step is allowing you to ignore the sign. That's the first step. Eventually the sign comes down.
Yeah, ours are still up too, but I mean, to be fair, ours will probably remain up anyway. Because one of the things I will say about my my country that I'm kind of really sick of is how filthy we've gotten. So my province, or at least my city, visually isn't the worst because we clean up after ourselves here. Like even our homeless who are dirty clean up after themselves. It's funny. You will watch at least one person in a hobo group clean up after the other hobos. I'm like, are they paying you? But you go to our bigger cities right now, and naturally we're trashed. We're completely trashed everywhere because they care more about people wearing a mask on the train than the actual filth. So those stickers are going to be there until they're peeling and dirty and gross. Yeah. Yeah.
Every country has their Looney Tune problems. You have a dictator. Australia has a couple of them.
Yeah.
And
So
we have pudding brain, so
it was one of those few things that I could still rub in with you guys, because like the US has cities that are beautiful, but some of your best cities have gone to trash.
the
Some of your
democratic
most
ones.
Yes. And it's sad. So when I see my own country doing that, I'm like, no.
Yeah. Florida is still
'Cause
gorgeous.
the minute-
Texas is still gorgeous. It's just
It's upkeep too. Like the minute you start letting it go for that long, the harder it is to clean it up and fix it. There is no fixing some of those cities.
yeah, you'd have to spend a lot of money and get a lot of crowd swell, involved to get all that stuff straightened out. They're not willing to make the primary steps necessary to make the secondary step. The secondary step is the trash and all that kind of stuff. The primary step is getting people off the streets.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, then you can clean them up because there's no one to be able to make them dirty again. They're all in houses or homes or apartments or whatever projects, whatever needs to happen. But you really need to get all the homeless people off the streets. There's only two real ways of doing that. End all the benefits. So there's no reason for homeless people to be on the streets in the first place. They're either going to be in mental institutions of some sort, which you have to bring back, or they're getting jobs. One of the two. So that's the reason why California and New York are the way they are. They're so generous to people who don't have jobs, is that people who don't have jobs go there to not have jobs and live off the street and be fine with that. I mean, you can actually live the van life off of, which is a legitimate lifestyle to live out of a van. You can live out of a van comfortably in California and never have to worry about money. You don't have to pay any bills. You just got gas and that's it. Although gas is more expensive, but anyway, yeah. I mean, we all, like I said, we all have our problems, but
Yeah.
so,
But yeah.
yeah.
Anything good going on? Like, I had something pop up that made me sort of happy, but then I had mixed feelings about it. There was this show that I used to like. It was like the Kids in the Hall. Yeah,
I
somebody
remember
said
that show. That was great.
Yeah. Well, they're coming back with an episode, and I'm just like,
Yeah, too late.
yeah. Like I'm still happy because it's the original cast, but at the same time, though, I'm like, yeah, your atmosphere is not good for this. Like all your jokes are fine.
What show is coming back? I missed that part.
Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall.
Mhm.
It's a
It must be.
Canadian sketch comedy group.
Oh, okay.
They were good.
They were great. I loved that show when I was watching it.
They do have more liberal jokes. It's just back during a time when you could make fun of everything, and it was kind of cool.
Well, One of my favorites, and I can't actually name it on this stream because we'll get taken down. But they had the gay guy Scott Thompson singing a song called "Running F Word."
He was my favorite character.
See the running F word.
Like, there you go, lefties. My favorite character from that show was the gay guy.
Yeah,
because I liked his character. I didn't give a shit about who he was boning.
No, of course not. I did like Dave Foley was always good, and Bruce McCullough. I also liked him. They were great. The kids in the hall. The I'm crushing your head thing.
Oh, is that where that came from? I'm squishing your head.
Well, that's where I first saw it.
I thought it was Monty Python. That's where it came from.
I haven't seen it on any Monty Python sketches, but no, I remember the kids in the hall. There's like they like used their fingers and put them sort of like, so from their perspective, it looked like their fingers were around the other guy's head and goes, "I'm crushing your head." And then the other guy put his thumb, so and goes, "I can't see you, I can't see you."
Yeah. Well, we're getting close to the end, folks. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out of here? I thought we were going to run over today, but we're actually coming up perfectly on time for a change.
I was curious about what chiropractors do, so I watched a YouTube video like this chiropractor ASMR, and it's like, I am never going anywhere near one of those crazy people. I don't know how anyone survives having their neck snapped like that.
I crack my knuckles from time to time. If my hands get a little stiff or something like that, I'll crack my knuckles, and that seems to loosen them up a little bit. It doesn't do any damage to you.
No, I mean, look, all my joints crack if I move them, but there's a difference between natural human motion. Like if I turn my head and my neck pops, that's fine. This guy's grabbing their head and then just makes a sharp yank to the side and goes. I was like, okay, do not do that to me ever. that will kill me.
Eddie Izzard does a whole routine on a chiropractor and how it doesn't make sense to him either. He's like, they get you all nice and comfortable. My head doesn't go that way.
Who was this? Who are you talking about?
Eddie Izzard.
Oh, right.
He does in Dress to Kill. He's like, and it's not like it's like an It's hilarious. If you get a chance to watch that it's pretty funny. But yeah, I know what you mean. The last one I saw was a chiropractor was doing a realignment on a porn star.
Oh, geez.
And she was like maybe 90 pounds, little white girl kind of deal. I mean, obviously playing on a stereotype there. And he was just brutal because she didn't care, no big deal to her. And he's just like, click. I'm like, oh my God, you're going to break her. It's terrible and very funny.
The Camel does raise a good question. How are they going to sneak Dave Foley back into Canada? Because he's not allowed back in the country because he owes so much child support.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't know
basically,
who he is. They won't let him back in the country.
He's in the hall. What basically happened was the child support was set when he was rich and famous, and then obviously his career kind of wound down, but he still owed as if he was still making the millions of dollars from when he was performing and like super famous.
Mm-hmm.
And so he couldn't afford it. In the end, he had to leave Canada because the child support was like more than his income. He's like, I can't pay more than I'm making. And so he had to flee. He had to leave Canada. He's not allowed back. So
well, they don't have to film it in Canada, right?
But I think what Jen is suggesting is that they're going to. Is like,
are they going
probably?
They can film it somewhere else and just release it in Canada, right?
Could be.
For the kids in the hall, I think they've already done that. I did share it. Let me just see if I can find where I put that. I was distracted by Sugar Tits. She does that to me sometimes.
See what Campbell said in chat. Not the first time she had her back blown out.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure they're doing it in Canada. If they're used to us filming that stuff up here, they probably are, because it's just going to be cheaper for them anyway. But it's the original cast. I would imagine they probably are in Toronto. I wouldn't be surprised. Although they could be in Quebec. But I got this through Prime Video Canada, so yeah, it's being done through Canada. I could.
I'll have to figure out a way.
I don't know. Like I said, I've got mixed feelings about it because it's like a little bit of that nostalgia from happier times. But at the same time, though, I have doubts of them thinking they're going to succeed as much as they will. That or they're going to limit the children from seeing it and just let their adult parents see it because their kids aren't going to understand this humor. Like everybody in here is technically a liberal. They're all making jokes that would have been acceptable by liberals like 10 years ago. But that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm happy because I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this, but I can see this causing drama for us up here for no reason. I find that fun. But on other news, I'm going to tell on Sugar Tits because she's the one who got me stuck on the screen vision of these women who are on strike. They are no longer going to have sex with men because they don't want to have their rights to have an abortion taken from them. And I'm just like, I love this argument by them.
It's
because
beautiful,
Christians are loving this. They're like, that's the point.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
get pregnant.
Yeah. You're not going to have sex with us? Great. That saves all the kids. You're working right in our bailiwick there.
And this goes back to my point with BG. I keep saying I'm a little bit more evil and brutal than people give me credit for. It's not that I'm not pro-choice. I'm actually just a little bit more further ahead. It's just if you're going to go that route, go the whole way. And when you do, acknowledge that you should no longer be allowed to adopt either. Because the minute you give up your children, you no longer have the right to mine.
Right.
Because that's what I've been feeling from the left. Like they're all about like, your right to kill your own kid because there's no other option to keep you from getting pregnant in the first place.
Not a single option.
Not a single option. But this thing where they want to take your kids and tell your kids how to live their lives from the age of like 4 and up. I don't want them having anything to do with my kids. I'm not against abortion for what it used to be about. Like I was one of those kids from the early 90s who saw dumb kids who I acknowledge are always going to be dumb and thought that they meant like the first 4 to 5 weeks of your pregnancy where, I still envision a clump of cells. I do acknowledge that's a human, but it's still a clump of cells.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a clump of cells. But
yeah, me too.
But at that level, you're not feeling things at the same extent that you and I are.
My position has always been: can the fetus, baby, whatever you want to call it, can it feel pain? If it can feel pain, then what you're doing is inexcusable.
Yes, I agree.
If it hasn't developed the capacity to feel pain, it's still wrong, but it's more acceptable. It's like less
it's that one
wrong.
line. Yeah.
The
That's
problem,
where
the problem is you can't. There's the problem. I didn't want to get too much into abortion, but the problem with abortion is that you can't draw a solid line. You can't say at this many weeks it's good, and then one day later it's bad, or one day earlier it's bad. You can't do that because every pregnancy is different. There is no way to standardize on a number. So the only number you can standardize is not to have pregnancy in the beginning. That way you don't have to worry about trying to draw an arbitrary line somewhere along a development cycle,
That's kind of like saying you can't draw a line on age of consent, because there are some people who
that's also true.
17 years and 364 days are in fact perfectly able to consent to sex were the law not preventing them. And there's people who are 19 who probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
And there are people in other countries who believe that you could be 6 and 8 all the way up to 9.
Yeah, but
kidding. Sorry, YouTube, don't get that.
Yeah, but those decisions don't speak to a living being. Whether they consent or not, they're not going to die from it.
No, I'm just saying that the same argument of you can't draw that line is, well, we've drawn similar lines.
Yeah, we have drawn similar lines, but without the consequences that this line would have to be drawn.
Yeah.
It was also the idea that if that ever happened, it was meant to be rare. Okay, so say that scenario was the one we were going for. This is back when I was learning about abortion during the 90s and the early 2000s. The dumb kid who made the mistake once, that's what that was supposed to be. Like, you fucked up. You're going to live with this shame forever, but
Yeah.
at least the pain that you're causing is limited.
I was actually pro-choice when I mistakenly believed that they meant the third part of safe, legal, and rare. Like,
Yeah.
if it was intended to be, this is an emergency procedure, something that we've done our best, we've looked at all the other options, this is the least horrible option available, I'd be okay with it. But it's not, you know what? I don't want to have a kid. Let's fucking kill it.
That's basically,
kind of,
Yeah.
that flippancy is what offends me about the abortion debate.
That's what pushes me over to the pro-life. It is 100% what has pushed me to pro-life, is that level of thinking. Like I said, even when the baby is just a clump of cells, it is still a baby. And even then, like,
eventually,
even my reasoning with what I've said, I'm aware of the fact that my reasoning is still cold. Like, a clump of cells is still a baby. But when I was learning about this stuff, like, I was under the thinking, like, I don't really want to screw over a dumb kid, you know. And at the same time, I was looking at the position of, I'm an adopted kid. I'm blessed. I've been adopted by a really good family, you know. But the adoption system, and I know it's crap. You know, I oftentimes think, you know, Planned Parenthood, if you got a little bit less money and maybe some of those kids who are alive got some more of that care, you know, maybe a little bit more sincere look into who's caring for them and making sure that they're getting that stuff, maybe it would make it easier for women who don't want to have an abortion to give up their kids to people who would like to adopt.
Yeah, no. When I thought safe, legal, and rare meant rare, like it wasn't going to happen very often because it was a last resort kind of thing. I was like, okay, no, I'm on board with that. If you've exhausted all the other options, this is unfortunately the best of a bunch of bad situations, then okay, make the decision. Where I get offended is when they don't take the full weight of what they're doing into consideration. It should be, I hate that I have to do this, not fuck it, let's kill the thing.
It's just, go ahead.
I was just, I'm very much an absolutist about this. I don't see, you know, except for where it will kill the mother, I don't see any reason for abortion. And people are going to say, well, what about rape? No, I still don't believe in abortion. And people are going to be like, what? No, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in killing the child is the resolution to rape. Sorry, the kid didn't do anything. It's not his fault.
No.
And if you don't want to keep the kid, that's fine. You can put up for adoption, whatever you want to do. But
there is no point at which I think abortion is a good thing, but I am willing to accept sometimes it's the least awful thing available.
It's the same thing with incest. You know, all right, great. You know, incest via rape or something like that. Again, killing the kid, not the answer.
I've said before, I don't know why incest is included. Because if it's non-consensual incest, that's already covered under rape.
Correct.
And if it's consensual incest, then why do they get abortions while other people don't? It's basically saying, if you want an abortion, fuck your brother.
As far as incest is concerned, there's a chance in incest to have a negative impact on the child. And that chance grows as incest continues down the line, but initially it's still very low. It's like 4% that there's going to be any kind of problem. It just becomes 14, then 40, and then 90. You know, as you keep going.
Yeah, no.
I mean, look at the royals. The whole royals, they were all incestuous. So it's not like we haven't done it.
I'm not saying incest should be encouraged. I'm just saying that if a brother and sister bang each other, why do they get to kill the kid, but two non-related people can't? Like, why do the creepy brother and sister get to kill their kid?
Take a second to say hello to Devil Fruit Zero.
I think that's more of a punishment to them, is what that was about, more than necessarily about them. Because incest back in the day was a punishable offense, wasn't it? Like, my understanding is like it's not exactly legal to do that.
If you make rape a reason to terminate, then every pregnancy will be a rape.
Of course.
So
I'm not.
You know, I'm pretty staunch about this. If it's going to kill the mother, and even if it is going to kill the mother, I still think it's up to the mother's decision whether she's willing to sacrifice her life for a baby or not. You know,
well, that is her body, her choice. At that
Right.
point, it is like
So-
it is her holding on to her life for the child. But they do that one too, and that one I absolutely hate the most is the way that they conflate a child that is possibly dying in the womb as something. I think that's the most sinister one that they've done, because I don't doubt that they prey on women on the left who've had that. You know, and that's not a happy decision. When you're making that decision, it's because you're facing your baby suffering inside of you versus your baby suffering outside of you. That's your choice, basically, when that's happening.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not knowing if your baby's going to suffer for a couple of days, a couple of minutes, or if they even get that far. And then you're conflating that with a regular abortion. And then you're doing that to these liberal women who are probably a little bit cuckoo from that, because that to a woman, I'm speaking as someone who's never had one, to a woman that is traumatic. Because your baby's, yeah. Go ahead.
No, you know what I find weird? I would have thought it should be the other way around, because given the demographics of who is getting the most abortions, and given the voting preferences of the Black community, surely the left should be saying, do not kill our future voters. Under any circumstances, we need as many as we can get. But they're the ones saying, no, off with their heads.
That's what I mean. That's why they're going after our kids. That's why they want CTR everywhere, and they want to talk to your kids at the age of 4 about their lifestyle, because they're not producing their own, so they can't influence their own kids with that shit. They need yours.
I'm just saying it should be the other way around. It should be the left saying, no, don't kill our future voters, and the right saying, you know what? It's only more lefties anyway. We're cool with it.
This has been the funny thing. Like, the right really just has to play the same, and I'm being an absolute asshat here. Just play the same game that the Muslims have been playing. Just outbreed them, and they will go away. I'm taking advice from you guys. It's probably not the one you wanted, but there you go. Yeah.
You can see why I didn't bring up abortion as the first topic for tonight, because we could probably spend another 4 hours on this. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here unless you guys have something else you want to discuss.
Just letting y'all know, my body, my choice. The best part of that was knowing that I've never once gotten pregnant, and I've had sex.
That's impossible.
I know, right?
Well, first, congratulations. Second, cool.
You're welcome. I thought I'd make some excitement.
Please give us the details. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here. I'm just afraid it's gonna be 4 a.m. before we finish talking about this. But maybe we should talk.
Yeah.
Maybe we should dedicate some time next week for this to talk more about it, because I'm sure it's still going to be a topic pretty hot even then. I mean, I knew that this was going to happen, because that's why I didn't even bother talking about Elon, because I know, well, if we put Elon in here, we're not going to get out of here anywhere near on time. So,
well, to be fair, I don't normally talk about abortion because, like I said, I've never had that problem. Most of the time, it's just you go on Twitter long enough, you watch a video long enough, and you see stuff, and you're like, these are shit excuses from shit people.
Jack's in chat. Hey, Jack, welcome to the end of the show.
Yeah. See, it used to be a thing. He always arrived at the end of the stream. And so it turned into whenever I saw him in chat, like, okay, time to end the stream. But this time, it's like it happened naturally.
Perfect timing.
Like it should.
All right. Thanks, fam, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember the Minions are live every evening, including weekends, with most shows starting at 11 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Host and start times are listed in the description down below. We'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.